In a quiet, tucked-away village, Mira worked tirelessly in her small bakery. Her days were filled with kneading dough and dealing with customers who never seemed to appreciate her efforts. One morning, as the sun barely peeked over the horizon, a dusty traveler stumbled into her shop. His cloak was tattered, his boots muddy, and his hair disheveled. "I'd like some bread," the man said, his voice steady but soft. Mira glanced at him, unimpressed. "Do you have monies?" The traveler fumbled in his pockets, pulling out a single coin. "This is all I have." Mira scoffed, her frustration from the morning spilling over. "That won't even buy a crumb. I don't give out charity here. Move along." The traveler hesitated but nodded, turning to leave. As he did, a little girl from the village came rushing in, clutching a coin identical to his. "Mira, can I have a roll for this?" she asked with wide, hopeful eyes. Mira smiled warmly at the girl, handing her a fresh roll. The traveler noticed but said nothing, disappearing into the crowded market. Days passed, and rumors began swirling through the village. A prince was said to be visiting incognito, traveling the kingdom to understand the struggles of his people. Mira thought little of it until one afternoon, a royal procession arrived in the village square. Mira stood among the crowd, watching as the prince stepped forward. Her heart froze when she recognized the dusty traveler. He was now dressed in regal attire, his tattered cloak replaced by a flowing cape embroidered with gold. The prince's gaze scanned the crowd, stopping on Mira. He stepped closer, a small, knowing smile on his lips. "Do you remember me?" he asked, his voice calm but pointed. Mira stammered, her face flushed. I didn't know, Your Highness." "You didn't," he agreed, his expression unreadable. "But you judged me anyway." The crowd murmured, and Mira felt the weight of their stares. She lowered her head, expecting the prince to reprimand her publicly. Instead, he said, "Your bread must be very good if you're so confident about who deserves it." "I'll take one now, with a fair price, of course." The tension eased, and Mira hurried to fetch the best loaf she had, hands trembling. As she handed it to him, the prince added softly, "Kindness isn't just for those who can repay it. Remember that." From that day, Mira changed. She learned to temper her frustrations and to treat even the humblest stranger with respect. And while the prince never returned, his words stayed with her, shaping not only her bakery but her heart.